Hi guys, and welcome back to Car Focus. This is going to be like a quick vlog, just updating you all on the status of my Focus RS. I didn't think I'd be making a video like this, but to cut to the chase, I no longer own the Focus RS. It's sold. Yeah, I sold it last week. I'll explain the story leading up to me selling it. So basically, as you know, I developed the fault that it had. It went to my local dealer to be rectified and investigated. They said that it was my intake, the mount tune intake, which was causing the issue because I was running a standard map. They thought the mount tune intake wasn't running right with a standard map, and that was the problem. But that isn't the problem because the mount tune intake is a warranty approved part and it's designed to run with the stock ECU calibration. So I kind of think they just didn't really want to investigate it, and they gave the car back to me in the same state. So fair enough. So I took the car home. I put the spark plugs in, the Iridium spark plugs, and it was still doing it. It was still misfiring at the top of the revs. So I got in touch with a specialist down south, a Ford performance specialist and a performance car specialist. They do all types of different vehicles. Got it booked in there, drove it down there 130 miles, drove it steadily. The car was absolutely fine. I averaged 34 miles per gallon, didn't miss a beat. It's only when you really drive it hard, it started to misfire at the top of the revs. So yeah, it didn't skip a single beat, drove absolutely fine for 130 miles, 2-hour drive. So yeah, so I left it with the specialist, and they were updating me. So they managed to get the fault to recreate. So they managed to recreate the fault, should I say. They got the misfire, and they were struggling. They were struggling to find the cause. They managed to get a code which was saying inefficiency of the catalytic converter. So they checked the cat, and the cat was actually running fine. They cleared the PCM apparently. So I'm guessing that's like a PCM update or something. And they thought they'd cured it by doing that. But on running it a bit more, the misfire returned at high revs. So they started to delve in a little deeper. So they did a compression test. The compression test came back fine. And then they decided to check the timing. Now this is where it gets a little bit interesting, because my local dealership, I don't know if you remember, I did a video when I had the oil leak on the front cover after the head gasket failed. So when the head gasket was replaced, they take this front cover off the engine, reseal it, and a lot of RSs had been leaking after this recall. So I had the leak, took it to my local dealer, they resealed it. It was really thick red sealant, it didn't look right, so I did query it with the dealership. I sent an email with a picture and they assured me that it was fine. Anyway, well, it was at the specialist a couple of weeks ago. They decided to take its front cover off. They called me and they said the sealant that's been used is the wrong sealant. It's quite messy, it's cured too hard. When we've tried to take the bolts off to remove this cover, the bolts have snapped because the sealant had gone like concrete basically. So the bolts had snapped, so they had to send a specialist out to re-drill or re-tap the threads into the engine block, which was a bit of a nightmare. But the timing was fine. So the compression was fine, the timing was fine. So it was kind of like looking like it was going to be like a really trivial issue. But anyway, as this was going along, I was just kind of getting more and more kind of disheartened with the car, sort of falling out of love of it, so to speak. And I saw online the company that it was with, the specialist, they were actually looking to buy performance cars. So I emailed them and I said, how about, would you be interested in buying my RS? It's already with you. And they had looked around the car and they agreed to buy it. So I sold it to the specialist and the deal has been done. And the only problem is I don't know what happened with the car. I don't know what the outcome was. I have emailed them yesterday to see if I can have an update, but I'm no longer the owner, so I suppose they're not really obliged to tell me what was wrong. But for all I know, it could have been a sensor, a bad earth, it could have been anything, but they know what they're doing. They were in contact with Ford. They're an accredited dealership, so I'm guessing they would have sorted out the problem and it will be on their forecourt for sale very soon. It's a big shame. I will miss the car. I did love the car. It was just, even before I did anything with the car, the fact the head gasket went at 14,000 miles, started to put a bit of a downer on things, and then it had to go back again for the oil leak. That wasn't resealed properly, which has caused further problems down the, blah, blah, blah. It was just starting to get a little bit on top of me. But anyway, the RS is sold. So moving forward, my new car. Now, I'm actively looking for my new car now, and I will tell you what that is right now. And I'm hoping you're going to be happy with this decision. I did mention a BMW M2, but that's not happening now. That's not going to happen. My next car is going to be a Ford Focus RS Mark II. That's right, a Ford Focus RS Mark II. I've wanted a Mark II since 2009 when they came out, but I couldn't afford one back then. When I could afford an RS, the Mark III was released, so that's why I decided to put my deposit down on the Mark III. But I've always had a desire and a want to own a Mark II. And after driving a couple within the past year, so I did the review of all three of them back to back, that MR375 Mark II that I drove last year, I absolutely fell in love with it. And I kind of know that I will be happy owning a Mark II. So I'm going to look at one on Saturday. I'm setting myself a 20k budget. Prices are still really high, but I think for 20k, if I look hard enough, I can find a nice one with kind of mid mileage, like 50k, 60k mileage. And the plan is to get a completely stock one, preferably in frozen white, and just get it looking really clean. So if there's any stone chips on it, I'll get the front end resprayed. Any little parking dings, I'll get them removed. Just get it looking mint. Probably just lower it slightly, space it out, and then look at kind of some engine upgrades. So maybe get it to Mountain Tune MR375 spec. I don't believe they actually sell the package anymore, but you can still buy the bits to get it to that. And I think they sell the map as well. But yeah, just get it looking OEM plus and just kind of cherish it. Have it in the garage as a car I can use weekends, days off, not as a daily. I'll keep my Focus estate daily. And yeah, just an RS just to really look after and kind of treasure and hopefully keep it for a good few years. I love the 5-cylinder sound. I love the way the Mark II looks. It looks the absolute dog's bollocks, basically. The road presence is insane. So yeah, it will kind of be like something I can tick off, almost like a bucket list kind of thing, because like I said, I've always been obsessed and really wanted the Mark II. And that would have meant that I've owned the Mark I, the Mark III, and then the Mark II. So all three Focus RSs I would have owned. So probably not the video a lot of you wanted to hear. And I'm sorry that I can't update you on what happened with the RS. If I do get a response back, I will let you know. I don't think it was anything terminal. They didn't seem too concerned. It was just a trivial issue which they were having to just check loads of little things until they found out what it was. It was like a process of elimination, basically. But I don't think they would have bought the car off me if it was going to be something really serious. So for those out there that are panicking, I wouldn't worry too much. But yeah, so that's it from me. Just a quick video on my phone. Yeah, so the next video is probably going to be me with my Mark II Focus RS, introducing my new Mark II Focus RS. So I'm on the hunt now. I'm looking, like I said, I found one I want to look at on Saturday. It's frozen white. It's full Ford service history, 50,000 miles, completely stock. So hopefully, fingers crossed, that one is all right. So yeah, that could be the next video, but we'll have to wait and see. But I'll keep you updated anyway on my sort of car journey and what's going on with my life when it comes to cars. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for tuning in. Sorry for leaving you hanging for so long, and also sorry that I can't give you a definitive update on what was wrong with my Mark III, but it's been sold now and it's time to move on. So until the next video, take care, and I shall see you soon.